Hall of Famer Grant Hall with us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline here on a Wednesday. Good morning, Grant. Did you see the basketball schedule came out, or at least the conference schedule?
Just hearing that, for years Arkansas opened at Mississippi State. Who did they open with this year?
Tennessee. Tennessee at home, just like last year, but last year was on the road, and that was an ugly one.
That'll be fun. Calipari has not shied away from playing tough intersectional teams this year either. He kind of likes those spotlighted games in different places, so I think he likes this roster pretty well.
Yeah, I think he does. Looks like you got LSU a couple of times, Tennessee, Carolina, Vanderbilt, LSU, Kentucky, Auburn, Mizzou, A&M, and Texas are the home games. So, hey, it's a pretty good home schedule for basketball. I don't remember if Michigan State is home or road, though, this year, but I know you'll get them at one point over the next 2 years. So there you go. Basketball schedule's released, and now all we got to do is get through the next 3 weeks for football and hope we're not talking basketball in September too much, Grant.
Yeah, yesterday I went over and listened to Nick Perry, who's a first-year assistant coach of Arkansas, and he's charged with these defensive backs. He likes the fact that he can look up at them rather than down. Arkansas's got some taller guys this year, some big cornerbacks. He likes that. Larry Worth goes about 6'4", 226. And they like the room. I know the receivers coach, Fouch, he was talking about their guys. Arkansas lost its top 9 receivers in terms of production from last year, but so it's kind of an unknown quantity there. I think these guys sort of think that they're better than they're being predicted to be, but that's probably true of every team right now, right? Everybody thinks they're going undefeated.
Grant, I haven't gotten my eyes on any of this practice yet. I'm interested to see, the new offensive line. Have you seen any practice yet? And the first time I'll get to see anything will be against you at Alabama A&M. So you got to kind of take that for what it is. Then Arkansas State. But have you seen any practice yet? What are you looking forward to watching?
Just really in the spring, Matt. My wife and I have been. We went to the beach last week in North Carolina to see my daughter and her family.
Did you golf at all?
I didn't golf. I looked at a couple of courses there. Didn't take my golf clubs. We went to the beach 11 times in 6 days, which I thought was pretty good. And did a lot of other stuff. Saw the aquarium. Did things with grandkids, and then we had the all-time horrible travel day coming back, where one of those things where they stick you in at Charlotte. We couldn't get out that night, so we had to spend the night and so forth, get 3 hours sleep. But good to go, and happy to be back in Northwest Arkansas. I wanted to mention one thing. I don't know if you guys covered this last week, but I saw Trey Trumbo yesterday, and it reminded me, Trey played UA basketball with both Alan Zahn and Robert Burton, and both of those men have passed away this year. Alan Zahn more recently, I think he was 66 years old, which just, to me, how time gets away. But he was a guy that had these shoulders that all the other players talked about on the opposing team. They thought he was a neat looking guy, and I think he averaged about 10 points his senior year. Trey played in 76, 77 before going to Western Kentucky, but he played, I believe, 1 year with Robert Burton, who started out with Lanny Van Eman at Arkansas. A visually interesting guard. I remember the writer Michael Gaspini describing him as. So longtime Razorback fans will remember those two guys, really good players for the University of Arkansas.
Hey, I'd not read about them, Grant. So I appreciate you bringing that up. I watched my first full Major League Baseball game last night. I'm not counting the All-Star game because that's not a real game. Certainly, the way that they finished that thing is not real. But I watched the Phillies and the Orioles last night. I've decided I'm going to be a Phillies fan for the remainder of the year. That has nothing to do with 2026. I just want a team to root for right now, a team to pull for, and I kind of like Schwarber and I like Bryce Harper and the city of Philly. I don't care that they just won a Super Bowl. I just want something to root for. I got to have a team to actually care about, to watch a lot of these games right now. And the Pirates, of course, are not worth it. So Philadelphia is going to be my team.
Well, you can root for Harrison Bader, also a former Cardinal who's on his 5th team now. And they just got him. He had a 3-run home run the other night. The team, guys that has won more games than anybody is Milwaukee. They've won 69 games, I think, and they're really hot. I think something like 21 out of 25, and they've gotten a pretty good little cushion on the Cubs here in the last week. So that team has kind of quietly come on. Yelich has always been good for them, and they've got an injury or two. But, my Cardinals are 57 and 58, languishing. They lost 12-6 to the Dodgers last night. And today, I think they go against Ohtani on the mound this afternoon. So I'm not sure, Phil, how many innings he's up to now, but he is pitching some for the Dodgers.
I was looking at Bader's career, and I remember when he was I won't use the term franchise savior or anything, but he looked really good when he first came up. He was going to be a cornerstone of the franchise in center field for years, right? But it doesn't. Yeah. But it doesn't always work out that way. And he's played for 6 teams in the last 3 years, which is journeyman category at the age of 31. You know what we don't have right now? Are we allowed to actually use the word journeyman to describe some college football players that are on their 4th team in 5 years? Because no one's ever brought that up before. I think like Jaylen Brown, the receiver that Sam's talked about quite a bit, LSU, Florida State. That's a journeyman. We got a few journeymen on this football team.
Yeah, and of course the best example, I guess you'd say, is Harrison, Monte Harrison, who turns 30, I believe, in a few days. Isn't that right? And and happy birthday, and he's up there in the rotation with all these receivers. Who's going to be playing? I heard you all talking about it yesterday, and about how last year Armstrong had 78 catches but just 1 touchdown. Do they have difference makers there, guys with I think they were pretty high on Cisse, but he's out for the year, it looks like. And Raylan Sharp has turned some heads, but he's just 5'9", and I know Fouch believes that he says that the size doesn't matter in terms of guys getting open. Maybe that y'all talked about Tesla yesterday. Was that the issue with him? Was he not getting enough separation that they felt confident throwing to him a lot? But the NFL sure liked him.
I think they had Broden ahead of him, and he just never got, for whatever. We talked a little bit about it. I think there's players that are really good practice players, and then they get into the game, and they're just not. And I think that's kind of what you got, because Broden has talent. I mean, he was a violent runner, and he just didn't perform to what I think his abilities were. And then it's, when do you – I don't know, as coaching staff, when do you move him on? Because how do you have a 3rd-round pick and not play him? Like, that doesn't look good on the coaching staff.
Yeah, and Broden, he was one of those guys that would make at least one sensational catch in practice every day.
That's what right.
Yeah.
Well, somebody Single A texted in, and I think he's right about this. They're putting Monte Harrison out in front of the camera. It's his body's right now. It's not like you would think you got to wait a couple of years maybe in terms of for some freshmen to kind of start blossoming and everything. But Monte's a grown man, and with a great mindset of the way that he views who he's competing with. He's competing with himself on a snap-by-snap basis. I liked hearing that. But this will be the year that he got to pop. Like, this is a season for a 30-year-old, and I say that with all complete respect. I think there's a lot of people joking about his age and what he's trying to do. I love what he's trying to do, but this is a year that he can't actually pop. It's just a matter of, I think he'll get a chance early, and he's going to have to capitalize on that.
It's interesting, guys. You can hear these comments from every team before the season, but I know both in the receivers Monday and the defensive backs yesterday, they talk about this bond that they have and how they're knit together and all this stuff. And you can see it when you got 3 of them up there together and they're all nodding their heads. And I think that in this day and age, with so much turnover on rosters every year, it's interesting how that can happen so quickly. And something like that, Julian Neal came in here, from Fresno State, and I guess briefly at UCLA and now Arkansas, and he's, talking about. I believe he's the guy. He had a family reunion this year, and at Conway, Arkansas, there's a Criswell Lane that goes back to his family name, and so he's got this background in Arkansas. So don't know. We'll see how it all shakes out, but I know there's a lot more optimism inside that camp than there probably is around the country about Arkansas football.
Hey, Grant, I want to get your thoughts on golf this week, and I know the Tour Championship is getting ready to go. How do you see it unfolding? Who do you like this week? I believe it's in Memphis, the FedEx St. Jude Championship.
Right.
Yeah, TPC
Yeah.
Southwind.
Well, I guess it would be silly to go against Scheffler, although this year they don't have that ridiculous thing where they start some guy 10 shots ahead or whatever.
That was the worst. I don't understand that. Yeah, that was the worst.
I read a thing today, Matt, where one person's opinion of the Ryder Cup team is going to be Scheffler, Schauffele, Spahn, Henley, DeChambeau, let's see, Harris English, Thomas, Griffin, Morikawa, Cantlay, Bradley, and Burns.
What about
There's
Koepka?
more and more.
No Koepka?
Well,
Yeah.
no, not on there. He hasn't done well in the majors.
Yeah.
You know,
I hear Gilmore's making a big comeback.
haven't seen that yet. You know, more, but there's more and more talk about Keegan Bradley maybe playing. And what do you do? Does he postpone his captaincy for another time? Does he? You know, what if he appoints himself and then he loses the first match and all these things? You know, it's pretty intriguing because he's 10th on the list, and he had said he would not appoint himself if he wasn't in the top 6, but now he's kind of gone back on that a little bit. So he's really popular where they're going to play. Another guy, you know, Cam Young is hot. Another guy, Gotterup, who recently stared down McIlroy, I think, in the Scottish Open. But do you choose guys who were hot for the last month or for the year or two before? So it's pretty intriguing to see who's going to be on this team.
Yeah, consistency I think matters. Then you got to, you sit down and you talk. Was somebody injured? What was going on? I do think consistency matters, though. So just because somebody shot the moon for a couple weekends, I don't know that. I like the guy that's been consistently making cuts and being in the top 20 all year.
Yeah, and like Cantlay has not done well in the majors this year, but he was such a good partner to Schauffele in the previous Cups. So it's going to be. I can't wait to see how it shakes out.